Woodward Sports Network presents a sports show that's more than just sports. Welcome to The Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go, Friday, March 25th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
First of all, I have to say it was a tremendous run by the Michigan Wolverines. They're no longer in the tournament, but I don't feel bad. People didn't expect them to go to the Sweet 16. They didn't expect them to be in it, let alone beat the Colorado State Rams in the first round without Javonte Jones. So, to Juwan Howard and the squad, I say good year. You have nothing to keep your head down about. Keep your head up. I think it was tremendous to overcome what you guys did, starting with the Wisconsin game and Coach Gar. So, with that being said, proud of the Wolverines, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. Can't wait to talk to Tim McCormick and see what he thinks about next year. But hey, we still got Michigan in the hockey tournament, and we still have the women in the Sweet 16. So guess what? Michigan goes on.
We'll talk to Tim McCormick about those Michigan Wolverines, where they go from here, coming up in just about 10 minutes from now. Great sharing a couple of beers with you yesterday as well.
As always. Friend. Shout out to Coach Rome, man. His assistant, as well as your brother, had a great time with those guys.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Hey, man, look, Maz, I don't know what to do about this bowling thing.
Sounds like fun, man.
I don't know what to do. Thursday night.
I thought there were 7 nights in a week.
Look, there aren't too many better nights than Thursday night.
That's why I bowl.
And that's why we go out. And I'm sorry it just happens to coincide with bowling night.
No, I'm sorry.
And look, no offense, but I can do one day of the, because I got a morning gig too. On the television.
Oh, yeah.
Morning/afternoon.
I can do one day after a night of cocktails. I can't do 2, or heaven forbid 3 or 4.
Okay.
And in fairness, though, like Maz, just let us know. Reach out and say, hey, why don't we do such and such on Wednesday,
Plan a
such
night.
And such on Tuesday? Because that's what Ryan did. Ryan hit me up and said, hey, Thursday, you free?
This was like a week and a half in advance.
Cool. I'll be there. Or I'll hit him up. Hey, boom, I'm there. So you hit us up. You let us know when, and I'm there.
I think I have.
No, you say stuff when we get here. You're like, hey, you guys want to do something today?
Do you think we're jerks for going out on Maz's bowling night, 248?
555.
Maz, good afternoon to you, buddy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Michigan's gone, but you guys could hop on the Peacock train.
Well,
speaking of that,
we did more than hopping on the Peacock train earlier today.
Happy National Peacock Day.
That's right.
Go figure. It's National Peacock Day, and these guys are in the Sweet 16 playing in Philly. So it's not a Cinderella story. It's more of a Rocky type story.
Right down the street.
Alex, do you have that video? Okay, so speaking of the Peacocks, Braylon, you have not seen this yet. I was
assaulted earlier.
So earlier today on the Big D Energy Show, at the end of the Big D Energy Show, the gang from Woodward Sports shout out to Darren McCarty. Absolutely, and Neil Rule, 11-1 here on Woodward Sports Network, and then 24/7 on YouTube. So the gang from Woodward Sports, we come into the studio, we give Darren a cake with the number 25 on it, D-Mac's number with the Red Wings, because tomorrow night is the anniversary of when he beat the crap out of Claude Lemieux.
Is it tomorrow or is it tonight?
Tomorrow, March 26th.
Okay,
yep.
March 26th. Okay.
So we come in, and then Neil starts reading a Planet Fitness read. And go ahead, play the video, and just notice what happens to Maz.
I was assaulted.
On itself.
Right. Absolutely.
Hey, guys,
and looky here.
Oh! Look at the fellas.
The anniversary.
I know where I can head after. Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there it is.
Nice. Can you see that?
There it is, everybody.
Yeah. All right, Neil, I'll let you do the commercial. Thank the fam.
$22.99 per month. That'll get you access to over 2,000 clubs anywhere in the world. Unlimited use of the hydro massage chairs. You see Maz right here as well. Join today in club or online.
Help me!
You're
Somebody
awful.
help me!
Listen, Maz, I apologize that I was
Somebody.
not here. that I didn't get to work early. Ryan, you know what? You're a real piece of work. You're a real piece of work, buddy.
I've been assaulted.
Maz, I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
Thanks, Bray.
I get you a Me Too T-shirt.
Thank you.
Get you a Me Too T-shirt. I don't say that lightly, by the way. I don't say that lightly.
I was felt up. I've never been felt up like that.
He got a big handful of that. You know, he was bragging about his hands when we measured, talking about Kenny Pickett, and those aren't Kenny Pickett-sized hands. He's got a little bit of size on that thing.
Is that the greatest thing you have ever seen?
I'm calling Nicole.
Between that and yesterday,
dying.
That's cutthroat yesterday.
Oh.
You've had a hell of a week there, buddy.
I was dying, laughing out loud. Oh, my God, that is so...
There it is, Ryan. PTSD every time I look at that place.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Braylon cannot look at the Browns facility in Berea, Ohio.
I cannot do it.
So Deshaun Watson has his introductory press conference today. We'll talk about that.
Oh, my God.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, and we'll try to get some clips for it as they put them out.
Oh, yeah? Who's getting them?
Speaking of getting put out.
But... Braylon sees the Browns facility, just sees it.
I can't.
And he's got like PTSD.
You know, the times in Cleveland weren't as bad as I make them out to be. Well, maybe I'm saying that. There were some good times in Cleveland, but there was just so many bad times, man, that I look back. I'm looking at it right now on the TV, and I'm like, freaking Berea, man. We drove into a snowstorm to get there after the draft, April 23rd, 2005. I should have known then.
You should have.
I should have known then that it was mistaken by the lake for a reason.
Unbelievable stuff. So we'll do that coming up. Also, Dave Burkett is going to join us. Yesterday we talked about his mock draft 3.0. Had some fun with that. So today he will be on with us and explain a little bit about that.
To defend himself?
I don't know if he's got to do that, Baz. I don't know if he's got to do that, but we'll get his take on it because it is a player. He's got the Lions selecting a player that many of us really have not seen pegged for that selection for the Detroit Lions at number 2. But, Braylon, we're going to start with the Michigan Wolverines. You alluded to it a little bit ago. Good season for Michigan. Yeah, good season for Michigan. It just never came to fruition. This season just never came together. Yeah. They won a couple of games in the tournament to get to the Sweet 16, which is always a good thing. It's always great to get to that second weekend. You win a couple of games. But, again, one of the things we talked about last night, too, Braylon, was Frankie Collins. 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know, you got to play the hot hand. Diabate was just...
inconsistent the whole night.
Yeah, Houston, not much. And then you look at these three players that Michigan has, Hunter Dickinson, Moussa Diabate, and Caleb Houston, and you're like, these guys are they about to leave the Michigan Wolverines now? I mean, you're talking about 5-star guys, highly recruited. But as Tim McCormick pointed out on his Twitter page today, you go look at any mock draft in the country right now. You will not see either of these players' names in the first round. So there's really a question here as whether 1, 2, 3, or none of them come back.
Yeah, you know, just going back with the game last night, I mean, I guess we'll start with that. We'll start with the game. For me, I think Michigan forced Villanova to play about the best game that they could ask from Villanova. They only scored 63 points. They didn't shoot the lights out. Michigan had a chance. They were in this game at the start. They actually started out pretty good. You talk about no Caleb Houston in that game. Caleb Houston scored the first 5 points, and they didn't go back to Caleb Houston. As Brooks being the veteran guard, as a guy that's been in the tournament before, you think Eli Brooks would find Caleb Houston early and often in that game since he literally made the first 2 buckets. He made one right where it was right under the rim, took it to the hole, a little reverse layup, and then he shot a 3-pointer in the corner. So I would like to see him get more involved early on in the game, but Michigan literally was never in this game. And I know they took the lead early in the first half. I also know that they were floating around 3 points the whole game. They were only down 3 points. But Villanova was comfortably in control of this game. Whenever Michigan would get close, Villanova would get a turnover. They would get the block. They would shoot a 3-ball in the corner. They would go on an 8-0 run like they did when they went up 9 points later, the second half of the second half of the game. So they weren't really in the game. Michigan played as good as they could, I think, to go against against a Villanova. It just shows you where Villanova was and Coach Jay Wright was. Jay Wright made the adjustments in the second half. You saw them keeping Hunter Dickinson around the perimeter, not allowing him to get the ball down in the post and take advantage of that size advantage. They kept him up there. They kept him in double coverage when he was trying to get the ball in the paint. They did everything that they needed to do, talking about the Wildcats of Villanova, to beat Michigan, who was a hot team in the tournament.
Johnny Neo of the Detroit News, he put the numbers out last night. Michigan finished 12 of 29 on dunks and layups, 7 of 14 at the free throw line, and they lost by 8. They lost that game. They lost themselves.
And I think that's
part
what's
of
more
losing
frustrating.
The game. Part of losing the game, those dunks and layups, those aren't just missed dunks and layups. Those are blocked shots. Those are blocked shots by Villanova. Villanova pressed them in the box. They forced those blocks. They forced those missed shots. They made them shoot bad shots. I get it. Michigan beat themselves. But you know how you beat yourself? You don't just necessarily beat yourself. It's a really good team and a really coached well team in Villanova because of Jay Wright. I'm telling you, don't take for granted, don't not give Villanova credit for how they played defensively. Yeah,
absolutely.
They're good every year. They're like Alabama in football. They're going to be there every year at the end.
They can also win any type of game. Villanova can score points with the best of them. They can score upwards of 90 to 100. They can score 60 and win games. Villanova can do it all to win. They played a slow game yesterday, and they won that game too.
Villanova is just really good too in tournament action. I mean, they're like a really, in school, like you're a good test taker, but you're not a good student. You know what I mean? True. It feels like Villanova always steps it up, and they're a good tournament team. More so than anything else. But look, that game was there for Michigan, and I think that's the most frustrating part about it is if you play your best game and lose, I feel like I can handle that better. And this loss is what it is, but you do feel like Michigan kind of, I don't want to say beat themselves, but just gave it away a little bit, I mean, just by not finishing. And then, again, the rotation for me, that is something we pointed out yesterday at 2 o'clock. The key to Michigan, if it were me, I'd stick with the hot hand. Frankie Collins and Eli Brooks. I'd start them at guard.
That was the one blunder I would agree with you on. They played Devontae Jones 31 minutes. They only played Frankie Collins 10 minutes. That was your guy. You talked about that. He brings that energy. He gives you energy off the bench. He gives you just something different in there. He provides a different type of spark. That spark actually helped Diabate play well against Tennessee, too. I noticed that in the lineup. But just going back, man, Villanova's a really good team. They're really well coached. They did things on Hunter Dickinson. They didn't allow him to get that big game that he's been getting. He's been averaging 23 points over the past 10 games. Didn't get 23. He was allowed to 15 points. They kept him out of the paint, kept him on the bench, the perimeter shots. And Michigan, they've been inconsistent all year. So you can't ask a team that hasn't done it all year to put it together against a team in Villanova. They were looking for that Michigan State game. They were looking for that Purdue game. But when you haven't played that way all season, it's hard to pull that type of game out when you need it and call on it, and they couldn't call on it last night.
Tim McCormick will join us next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, where I put my sports bets in last night. I didn't have a great night. I had Houston to win, though. Tonight, I'm looking for a better night. So when you get on there, go to MyBookie.ag, use the promo code Woodward. That'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. You got Sweet 16 action tonight. St. Peter's against Purdue. Purdue a 13-point favorite. Providence against Kansas, the only number one remaining. Kansas 6.5-point favorites. Then UNC, UCLA, Bruins are 2.5-point favorite. Iowa State and Miami of Florida, the two upstarts. Number 11 versus number 10. The Hurricanes are 3-point favorite. So get to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Woodward. Get your free money. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please use the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
If you guys are, you're doing Wingstop. Go ahead.
Let me tell you about this.
I had that last night, by the way.
So good.
I had it last night.
I drove by one and I thought about those lemon pepper wings.
I ordered it last night for me and Max, man, for the games, man. I had that bar. They have a ranch. It's like a ranch lemon pepper version. Oh, my God.
Man, oh, man. Fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken, Wing Snob, the best traditional wings. Try out that signature sauce, Jamaican jerk, or even lemon pepper. That's my favorite. Wings tossed to perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online. Look for a location near you. Wingsnob.com. Wingsnob.com. We just have better wings.
Definitely last night, man. I had some of that Wing Snob. I had barbecue. Lemon pepper was amazing. I had a little chicken slider that was good as well. I think I'm telling on myself I was supposed to be on a diet. But, hey, if you're watching this, man, if you're on MyBookie, if you're on MGM Bets, if you're on any one of those type deals, you got to listen to my guy, Maz, right here. Maz said all the number one seeds were going down. I didn't want to hear it. I had Gonzaga going far. I had Arizona winning it all. Guess what? Maz, I should have listened to you.
It's all right, man.
I apologize, man.
Hey,
you knew your stuff.
I'm
The hell with
really
beer, man.
either.
I should have listened to you.
It's tough. That bracket is tough. It really is. I think Kansas goes down tonight. I don't think they'll be a number one left in the Final Four.
It was a tough thing. I know we got Timmy on the line, man, but just going back, one of the big things also Villanova did, their players stepped up when they needed him to. Samuels had 23 points when they needed him. He was in the paint fighting for rebounds, getting rebounds, offensive, getting putbacks. And, man, Daniels was everywhere. I know he only had 9 rebounds and 9 points, but it seems like he had 20 points, man. He was everywhere. He was getting blocks. You talk about those layups and those dunks being 50%. That's because Daniels was everywhere, and they're more. More gave you what you need. Their players, Gillespie, they stepped up when they were supposed to.
Guys, let's bring them in, talk more about this Michigan loss to Villanova and where the team goes from here. Let's do that with our good friend from Bally Sports Detroit, University of Michigan, 10-year NBA vet, the great Tim McCormick. Tim, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for the time, as always.
T-Mac.
What's going on? How's the team doing?
Everybody's doing good here.
Good.
Everybody's doing good here. Tim, I got to tell you, I think of anybody's Twitter feed over the last couple of days as it relates to the tournament, yours has been so spot on. Everything that you have said kind of came to fruition. Everything you're talking about is happening. So I'll just come to you with it last night. What was your assessment of that loss? And two-part question. Where does this team, this program go from here? So many question marks about guys leaving, staying, whatever the case may be.
Well, Ryan, appreciate you saying that, and I agree with you. No, I think that it's important to look back in time to be able to read the present. The things that happened last night really illustrate some of the problems this team has had all year. First of all, defensively, they're big and they're slow, and that can be an advantage if you play a certain way. But Michigan is playing a fast and athletic brand of basketball, and I just don't think that they have the athleticism to pull that off. And when I say that, you know, I look at Hunter, and he does so many great things. I think he's one of the best big men in school history. But he's a liability when he's out 25 feet covering guys. He gets a lot of blow-bys, and so that's an issue. And there were key plays in which you couldn't have Caleb Houston and Moussa Diabate on the court at the same time because they were having too many breakdowns at key moments. You know, when you're playing a guy that's 6'7" and can handle the ball and drive and shoot, you've got to get down in the stance. And you have to be disciplined to not go for shot fakes and not give up straight line drives and box out your man on the boards. And so I just thought that Michigan, for most of the year, was a mediocre defensive team. The next thing is offensively, they just lack playmakers. When you look at the best teams in college basketball, they've got that guy at the small forward. You just give him the ball and he blows by. He makes threes. He gets to the paint and makes layups. He kicks out for teammate shots. And Caleb is not that guy. I'm hopeful he'll become that guy. But the small forward position, was a real issue this year. If Caleb was playing power forward this year, I would have liked that a lot better because there's more matchups for him. But he didn't create off the dribble, and I think his shot mechanics need a ton of work. At the end of the first half, they got him a beautiful look from the corner. There was nobody around him. He took an effortless three, and he hit the side of the backboard. How does that happen? You know, that's a pure shooter. His misses are right at the rim. They're straight, maybe a little bit long, maybe a little bit short, but they don't hit the side of the backboard. And so he can be a great player, but he's got a lot of work to do.
And then moving forward, Tim, you look at it, and I think you called it out perfectly today. I mean, really, you could look at any mock draft in the country, and you will not find Hunter Dickinson, Moussa Diabate, or Caleb Houston on any of them. I mean, this is, you know, the number one recruiting class in the country last year with Diabate and Houston. And then you go ahead and you compare, you know, playing on ESPN to playing on no TV, because most likely these guys would go to the G League. Is there any question? And then the NIL money, you know, could potentially be a factor in coming back to Michigan. Again, two-part question. Is there any doubt in your mind that these guys should come back, and do you think they will come back?
I absolutely do. I think they should come back. And the point I'm going to make is something that Braylon has lived and seen, that when you step onto a professional field, you better be ready to go, because it's not easy to develop players at the NBA or the NFL level. There are too many games, and so if you come up there, they may take a shot at you with a second-round pick and say, hey, it's not a big deal. Maybe he'll be good, but if not, you know, he'll be gone in 2 years. If you step onto the field, though, or on the court as a lottery pick, they've made a significant financial investment. They've given up draft capital to get you, and they're going to make sure that you get every chance possible. So for those three guys, I think if they put their name in, they probably would get drafted at the end of the second round by somebody, but it's not the way you want to start your career. Now, will they leave? I would imagine one of them probably will. There's a lot of family pressure. You know, you're the savior. You know, you go out there and make that money. You know, take care of your family, get a nice car. I get that. And if you want to take your shot, you've been working your whole life. It's your life and your career. You can do that. But I think there's a lot of reasons to come back and get better. Moussa, as an example, probably has the biggest upside. And if he put his name in the draft, he would get drafted by somebody somewhere. But if he comes back and works on his game, I could see him being a lottery pick. And then all of a sudden you're talking about millions of dollars that are guaranteed. Right now, you know, you make $300,000. That's nice. That's good. But you have to have that long-term vision. Guys, the other thing that, you know, I'm going to try to address later in the week with some tweets is the fact that if one of them leaves, it might be encouragement from the coaching staff. They may have somebody else in mind that they would love to grab. You know, as an example, Yohan Trayor is a 5-star kid that committed to LSU when Will Wade was let go as the coach. He's back on the market. You know, if they wanted him that bad, you could have one of these guys leave and open up a spot. Patrick Baldwin played at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. He's a 5-star kid that didn't have a great year. His dad was fired as the coach at his school. Does he want to go to the NBA? What if he decided he wanted to play for Juwan? Like, there's options out there, and it's not necessarily that the player is saying I'm leaving. There's always a possibility the coaching staff could say, you know what, I think you're ready for the NBA, my son. Go on out there and do your thing and make us proud. That could happen too.
Hey, I got a statement, and then I do have a question for my good buddy Tim McCormick. Statement with Hunter Dickinson, Caleb Houston, as well as Diabate. Like, I see them, if they were to come back, I see them being good. They could be a good nucleus. You know as well as anybody, you got to have 3 players if you want to win it all. If you want to win a national championship, if you want to go far in the tournament, you got to have 3 players, and they could be 3 players. I don't see Hunter Dickinson having success in the NBA after what I've seen of him this season, and you hit the nail on the head. He doesn't move well. He doesn't move on defense well. In order to defend at 7'1", these guys are 7'1" in the NBA, man. These forwards, these wings, these stretch small forwards, they can play, they can move, they can get to the basket. Like, you got to be able to get down in your stance. You got to be able to break down, and that's something he doesn't do well. With that being said, looking at Michigan State, which one of these teams is really in trouble going into the offseason? Because I look at Caleb and I look at Max Christie, and I kind of see the same thing out of them freshmen that kind of stub their toe as freshmen trying to figure it out. Which team is in dire straits? Is it Michigan State? Is it Michigan? Is it both?
I think it's neither. Max Christie is probably the most likely to get drafted and have NBA success because he's that prototype wing that can really shoot it. NBA scouts saw everything they needed from him the first half of the season. He was tired. He was fatigued. He got figured out a little bit. But I think he's the most NBA ready and most likely to jump in the draft. But I think with the transfer portal, neither Michigan or Michigan State has anything to worry about. I think that Michigan State is going to have a major upgrade in their talent level based on the portal. And that's a big part of it right now. Every day is not worried about watching film and what happened. It's about watching film of players that are thinking about maybe leaving or they've already committed to the portal. So I think Michigan and Michigan State are going to upgrade their roster. They have different needs. I don't know if Marcus Bingham or Gabe Brown are going to come back. That will certainly drive some thinking. I think that you could probably have Joey Hauser come back too. I'm not sure if they necessarily want him back. I think he's a good player, but depending on what they see in the transfer portal, that could change. And in terms of Michigan, they need a shooter. Hopefully you'll see Jet Howard come in and grab that small forward position. But if he does, I feel bad for Caleb because if I'm coaching my son, man, I'm putting him in the lineup. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know what happens with Caleb. He's got to look at that situation too. But I think Michigan needs a 2 that can shoot and create off the dribble and play some 3 if you need it.
Hey Tim, I want to go through tonight's matchups with you and let me know who you like. Got St. Peter's against Purdue. Upstart Peacocks. Today happens to be National Peacock Day. Do they have a chance to get 13 points, by the way? Who you like?
I would take the 13 points, but Purdue is just too big and strong. I know that St. Peter's is going to try to push the tempo a lot, but I think it's a lot easier to slow the pace than to speed it up. How do you do that? Low turnovers and dominate the boards. I see that as a mismatch. I don't know if it's going to be more than 13, but I think Purdue wins comfortably. That's a great break for them to not have to play Kentucky.
How about the next game? They got Providence and who are they playing? Kansas. The only number 1 left.
I like Kansas a lot, and I picked them in my pool to win it all, and I'm in first place right now. Got 30 family members, and so it's a big deal in our family. I've got Kansas, and there's no way. I'm serious. I will go into hibernation. I will be satisfied in the world that somehow Providence can beat Kansas.
Hey, don't count those Friars out. They got to use the Patriots team plane, by the way, to fly in for this game, so they might have some luck there, Tim. How about the other 2 games? UNC, UCLA, and Iowa State, Miami.
I really liked the way that North Carolina finished the season, and I like the way that they were able to hang on for dear life against Baylor. I think that North Carolina has too many weapons, and I also believe that we have overvalued UCLA on what they did last year. Mm-hmm. Throughout much of this season, they had injuries, they had chemistry issues. And I just don't think that Hawkes is completely healthy. I definitely like North Carolina in that one.
Tim? I'm sorry, I was going to ask you about Duke. Duke won last night. Listen, we all know Coach K going out in style and all of that, but do you think there's a little bit of a bias to get Duke through to the Final Four?
I don't. They're a strange team. Immensely talented, and the Michigan State game and then last night they closed They have athletes that have an NBA mentality. Like they wink at each other and say, "You guys ready to go? All right, let's end this thing."
God, he's right.
They just go on a streak. They've got better talent than everybody else. I don't think they're getting necessarily great point guard play from a traditional standpoint, but I always hear that people don't like Duke. I don't get that. If Michigan's on, I watch Michigan. If Duke is on, I watch
I got
Duke.
2 words for you, Tim.
Yeah.
Christian Laettner made everyone hate Duke. That if you want the honest answer, that is
They
it.
made a documentary about
Christian
that.
Laettner made everyone hate Duke, and I don't think anyone's ever recovered. And it's funny because I actually love Christian Laettner now. But when I was younger, it was like middle fingers, the hell with this guy. Christian Laettner is the reason why people don't like Duke.
That is so funny.
Yeah, I think Grayson Allen and J.J. Redick are.
Grayson Allen.
There you go. Shane Battier.
I like watching pros in the college game and just seeing how it translates. And it kind of goes back to when we were kids. We fell in love with athletes by watching them in college and wondering how they transitioned. Michael Jordan played in college for 3 years, and so we knew him by the time he entered the league. Patrick Ewing, Ralph Sampson. I've always been fascinated with Mike Krzyzewski. I've spent 2 different days where he had me come in and speak to his team, and they're 2 of my favorite speeches I've ever given. I had a chance to learn about his culture and the way his players step on campus with the expectation of academic excellence and competing for national championships and teamwork and camaraderie and love for program. Man, I'm a big Duke fan.
Well, we're big fans of yours, Tim McCormick.
100%.
We cannot thank you enough for doing this. And for anybody out there who is not following Tim on Twitter, his Twitter is at Tim McCormick 40, one of the best Twitter feeds. I'm not sure there's anybody that's been as on point this NCAA season as you, Tim, and we certainly appreciate your time, sir.
You tried to talk Braylon out of Iowa.
Hey, Braylon, I tried to tell you, man.
I told you. Yeah, you're right. I promise you from now on I will listen to you and I will listen to Maz. I think my bracket would have been a lot better. But pay attention after you get off because I got some stuff to say about Gonzaga as well as Arizona.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
You
it.
got it. The great Tim McCormick. Again, follow him on Twitter
love him, man.
at Tim McCormick 40. Guy's been on point with just about everything he's been saying
I'd
about
put him on my staff.
This Michigan team, absolutely.
I would have him on my staff.
There are not too many better basketball minds, certainly in this area,
First
but
round draft
really
pick.
all over
Yeah,
the place.
100%.
Top
And
10 pick.
He's a big man too. We need that big man help up in Michigan. That would be good.
Absolutely. Really fortunate he gives his time and gives us time here on
And
the
he was a
network.
New Jersey Net.
Well, so there's that. Ermanni and Edwards, guys. I'm going to say something about the officiating in this college basketball tournament, too, that is really bothering
And
me.
here we go.
It's really bothering me. And it's got
some
nothing to do
stuff
with
too,
the
man.
Michigan game last night either, by the way.
Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Detroit, you've been waiting. You've been asking, and now he's back. Starting Monday, April 4th, Terry Foster joins the Morning Woodward Show every day, bringing you Detroit sports like only he can. The Morning Woodward Show with Terry Foster and Adam starts April 4th, live on the Woodward Sports Network.
SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for over a decade around the issues of mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni Sean Jordan, who will be with us today. Sean's coming in at 3:45 to give his knowledge, lend his ear, talk about Coach K and some other things as well. We've been able to save lives against these matters. The Sports Marketing Agency podcast, which he started, which we're working with him with, is amazing. It talks about some of these issues, talks about how you can get help, how you can notice some of these signs. Go to thesportsma.com, thesportsma.com. Find out more about that podcast. This is the F word, and the F word is for fentanyl. Also find out ways in which you can get some help if you need it. And trust me, everybody can use some help.
Talking college basketball, we just chatted with Tim McCormick, and one of the things too that he said he's going to talk about in the coming days is maybe the coaching staff at Michigan forces out a guy
Transfer
or two
portal.
to bring somebody in that might fit their style of play a little bit better. These pieces, They just seem to be not,
They're not cohesive.
Yeah.
Right? It's just,
and they need shooters.
It's just like John Calipari says. I know this is somewhat different, but somewhat similar. He tells his guys when they come in, he's McDonald's All-American, hey, you got 1 year. Figure it out because we're bringing in more. We're reloading, and that's kind of a similar deal is you need to bring in pieces. They didn't fit all year. The pieces didn't fit, whether it was Eli Brooks, Devontae Jones, Frankie Collins came on late in the year. Hunter Dickinson was the only consistent piece we had all year. There wasn't good open shooting by the guards. There wasn't good transitional points. They didn't play great defense, as Tim McCormick alluded to, man. But you're starting to notice a trend. Just watching Gonzaga go down last night to Arkansas, watching be it Arizona go down to Houston. These teams, they play this finesse ball all year. Gonzaga plays in the West Coast Conference. They play Pepperdine. They play against St. Mary's. They play this finesse ball. They don't get challenged. And then you get in the tournaments and you play against an Arkansas, a team that is well coached. Kelvin Sampson, guy that's been around a long time. He was at Oklahoma. He was in the NBA. He was at I want to say Auburn as well.
He coached for Indiana.
Yeah, he coached for Indiana as well. He didn't coach very long in Indiana, but he was there. And also he went to the NBA level. These guys play hard-nosed physical defense. If you notice why Gonzaga went down yesterday, if you notice why Arizona went down yesterday, that's because Houston and Arkansas out-physicaled them. At every turn, Coach Greenberg on ESPN talked about the up and under. They forced these guys. They defended well. They put them in spells. Chet Holmgren's supposed to be the number one player in the country, supposed to be the number one player in the draft this year. I love Chet Holmgren, but you saw it. He wasn't used to that intensity. He wasn't ready to go against a team like Arkansas that stayed in his face, stole the ball for him, forced him to make a play. That's what you're seeing. They're well coached.
Assaulted him.
They pretty much assaulted him, almost like you got assaulted. Not as bad.
Not as bad.
It wasn't as bad as what Ryan did to you. But you're playing against these teams, and you're forgetting they're well coached. Look at Eric Musselman down there in Houston. Eric Musselman's a guy that's been in that NBA game a very long time. Started coaching in the late 80s in the NBA game. The NBA and college game are very different. They're very different, and when you implement that NBA to the college ranks, you see success. Look at Baylor last year, look at Houston this year, and look at Arkansas last night.
I want to say something about that Arkansas-Gonzaga game last night as it relates to the officials. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey everybody, it's Maz for the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck, where you can go and have yourself a good time. It's the football bowling game invented by Chris Hutt, your host, and a great man, and he will teach you the game. He loves it. He got all the rules down pat. It is fun. A couple ways to play. You can go on your own. $10 it costs you, unlimited open play. Or you can bring 10 of your closest friends and have a lane for yourself for 2 hours. That'll run you $120. And, of course, you can do whatever you want as far as getting your eat and drink on. Plenty to drink. Over 100 beers they've got. And they got the $2 mystery beer machine, multiple full bars. Bring your own food in. Have a picnic if you'd like. It is that big of a place. You can have it ordered in as well. TVs all over the place as well. Catch March Madness there. Just go get your foal on and do it now. Get them all at thefoalingwarehouse.com.
Oh, yeah, man, we keep talking about it, but guess what? That's because it's coming. Summer's coming. Summer's around the corner. It's boating season. You want to take your shirt off. You want to get out there, drink some gypsy vodka on the lake, Lake Muscatoo. Well, you want to look good when you do it. You want to look good? Take your butt to Planet Fitness, where it's only $10 a month.
Only $10?
Sam, that's right. You can be on the boat with me.
$10.
Flannel Sam can become shirtless Sam. We can do it at Planet Fitness. Your fitness is essential. Over 2,000 locations. That means wherever you are, there is a location for you. You literally don't have to go that far. Get in the gym. And it's home of the judgment-free zone. Who doesn't want to not be judged and work out at their own pace and look good for the summertime? Sun's out, buns out. That's what I'm talking about. Bring the guns out. PlanetFitness.com. Your fitness is essential.
Guys, that college basketball game last night, I kept flipping back over to the Arkansas-Gonzaga game because the Michigan game was so frustrating to watch, and I was like, you know what? Maybe if I turn over to this game for 3 or 4 minutes, and then we come back, Michigan will take the lead, or it'll get closer, or whatever. It's a silly.
I do that with Michigan football.
Yep, it's a silly.
Were they still stuck on 51 points every time you change the channel?
100%.
But that's what I do. Okay, I'm watching this Gonzaga-Arkansas game almost with my jaw open. The officiating in this game was among the worst I have ever seen in my life. I sent a tweet out last night, not even thinking that everybody was going to assume I was talking about the Michigan game. So then I'm getting hammered by people because they're like, oh, here he goes again. Michigan's not losing because of the officials. And then I had to clarify, I was talking about the Arkansas-Gonzaga game. But nonetheless, I don't know how to describe it, but when you watch something like last night, and just how poorly officiated it was. I mean, Drew Timme getting mauled. Yeah. Worse than when I mauled Maz. And there's no whistle.
That's debatable.
There's no whistle. And then you come down and they give Chet Holmgren a touch foul, who barely's touching it. You're like, what? Did you see what just happened down at the other end? And it was multiple times like that. And I'm sorry, but it makes me think somebody's on the take. It did. I'm watching that game last night. I said that can't be right.
Right.
Like there's got to be an investigation into this. Now, Grant, Arkansas won the game.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that the officials, handed the game to Arkansas, but my goodness, especially with sports gambling the way it is now, and you see just how egregious some of these foul calls were. I know better. But it makes me think somebody's on the take. Almost like somebody's giving the official $50,000, be like, need Arkansas. It's so ridiculous to say out loud, but how do you not?
Sammy Maz would agree with you.
Yeah.
He's been preaching that to me for 55 years.
And then as I went on Twitter, after I put what I put on Twitter, I went and looked back because, it's not appropriate to attack the officiating in any college sport, right? Yeah. Well, and then he saw Skip Bayless, and then I saw Seth Greenberg, and then I saw, everybody was attacking the officials last night, so I felt okay. But anyway, I don't know, man. It's dire how bad officials are in college sports and sports in general, really.
It's funny you sent the tweet out because I sent the tweet out too, and I literally was like, I think the refs are asleep. I said, I think the refs are asleep. I was watching the Arkansas and Gonzaga game. I got to go back and pull my tweet up, but I literally said, I think the refs are asleep. So I do agree with you on that. But the majority of the tournament, I say it has been good at officiating. They've let these teams play. I watched the Colorado State-Michigan game, Duke-Michigan State game, Michigan-Tennessee game.
That North Carolina game was terrible. I mean,
North Carolina-Baylor was one of the worst officiated games. And matter of fact, people came out and said those refs won't ref the rest of the March Madness.
Well, I mean, you guys shut me down, so go ahead. I stand corrected. I just simply said the games I saw, I think the referees are trying to let them play more, let them play through some things, and I did appreciate that. However, the Arkansas game last night and that North Carolina-Baylor game, I do agree with you. There's some awful officiating in those two games. But for the most part, I think the refs are just trying to let these kids play. These kids are physical. They're more faster. They're stronger. They're more physical. I think you just got to adjust officiating for that and let them play a little bit more. You saw that, but there definitely was a lot of blown calls in the Arkansas-Gonzaga game as well as the North Carolina-Baylor game.
I got nothing.
How do you not?
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you for that. All right, so then we'll move on. Last thing I want to say about college basketball today, and I rarely will ever disagree with Tim McCormick, but I do think there is a little something about Duke in their run, and it's almost like they're not going to let them lose. I mean, they won last night.
They are good too. They're good, especially down the stretch.
They're good too. They've got great NBA bodies.
They do.
They've got NBA players playing a college game. So start there, and maybe last night wasn't a good indication, but you just feel like they're not losing.
Yeah, I mean,
you feel like they're just gonna, I don't want to say waltz, but you feel like this thing is going out the storybook way everybody wants.
That's what CBS and Jim Nantz wants. That's for sure.
I should have picked Duke. I should have looked at it. I should have thought about it and said, hey, you know what? This is Coach K's last dance. Everyone knows that they're not going to be the same team. Also, the one thing I think a lot of people did overlook, they're the only team in the country with 5 NBA players on that team. They have 5. Everybody else is hoping to have 1 or 2. Duke has 5 NBA players, and they're coached by the great Coach K, who's bringing it right now. He got after those guys after that North Carolina loss. Everybody was pissed at Coach K. You don't do that. You don't say that. Well, it looked like it's working. They're playing really good basketball. And where they're playing that great basketball is down the stretch, Ryan. Last night, they literally scored 12 of 15 possessions. They scored 12 of their final 15 possessions. They scored a basket. Roach turned it on in the last 5 minutes. He's a guard that's emerged as a player.
Yeah.
He's emerged as a guy that you trust to go in the first round of the NBA draft. And then Banchero, who's also been listed as number 1 all season in a bunch of mock drafts, he played well, like you said, or like Tim said. He gave him a wink, and they turned it on and said, all right, you guys ready? You ready to stop playing around? They are playing great defense in the last 5 minutes, and they're playing great offense in the last 5 minutes. Hard to beat a Coach K team that is motivated, dedicated, and has that much star power.
So, they've got a tough one next week. You like that, Alex? Now, you were with me earlier. You were with me earlier, Alex, when I said that about Duke. Do you weigh in here?
I totally agree. They just have that aura about them, just the way that they carry themselves on the floor. They just have that confidence. And I mean, I'll double down on that. They are very talented. Jeremy Roach is someone that I was not very aware of until the NCAA tournament when they played Michigan State. And oh my gosh, do we need to start talking about him more. The ability that he has to make tough shots when driving the lane. And that one shot he hit last night to put it away where he did the little in and out move to hit the jumper. Oh my goodness. Like let's give these guys some credit, but yeah, it just seems like it's in the cards for them with the whole Coach K thing. I totally agree with you, Ryan.
Who do they get next?
I think the other thing that you're looking at, you said who does
I'm trying to figure out who they get next here.
They get Arkansas.
They play Arkansas.
Arkansas, 8:49. They're the second game of the night after the 2-5 Houston-Villanova.
Which is another great matchup for them. What you're also seeing, man, you're seeing Coach K, and you saw it in the press conference last night. He talked about trusting his players. His players came to him because they start off in the man-to-man zone. They start off in man-to-man. They attacked them. They pressed Texas Tech. Then Texas Tech settled in. Then they switched over to a zone. They played the zone. And then Texas Tech, who's a really good team, they settled in again. And then the players, they went to Coach K during one of the timeouts in the second half. They said, hey, listen, Coach, please let us go back to man-to-man. Let us go back to man-to-man. This is what we're going to do. We got you covered. You just got to believe in us. Coach K is 75 years old, the best basketball coach in college basketball history. Could have easily said, no, you guys, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm Coach K, blah, blah, blah. This is me. Coach K didn't let it be about him. He let it be about those players. And he learned that from coaching in the Olympics. He's coaching all these individual personalities in the Olympics. His military background, listening to the soldiers that are on the front line, literally him listening to those guys was the difference in the game yesterday. So when you got a coach at 75 that's the greatest, willing to listen to 19, 20-year-olds, and 19, 20-year-olds willing to listen to the guy that's the greatest coach of all time, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see Mike holding up that trophy at the end of the tournament.
Guys, I want to pivot, do some NFL next.
I agree.
It's Friday, baby.
Thank you, Maz. You know how I feel today, right?
Gassed.
About to fall asleep, fall over, and you're just doing your thing. I want to pivot to the NFL next. We hear so much and wish so much that the Lions would trade out of number 2. Well, there's one guy who believes they are in the conversation to trade up to the number 1 pick to target who?
Hayden Hutchinson.
We'll get to that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
What was Sports Network? The Bottom Line.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down.
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires. Hits.
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy and the Bottom Line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold into New Orleans. Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Centron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Hey, gang, want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet, located in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. Les Stanford, your Corvette king. Nobody sells more Corvettes than them. And, of course, you know that 2023 Corvette Z06 coming out. Oh, yeah. 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. For more, go to CorvetteKing.com, CorvetteKing.com. And for all your other Chevy and Cadillac needs, head over to Les Stanford as well. You know about that chip shortage and supply chain, and it's hard to get a car.
Fake news.
He'll get you one at Les Stanford. You got to plan for this stuff. You got to plan if you're coming up on your lease. If you want to sell your car back, go in, let them take care of you. They'll give you top dollar for your car as well. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Guys, I want to put this tweet up. This is from Dane Brugler, who works for The Athletic. He talks about the Lions. They hold the number 2 and 32 overall picks in the first round, and according to Brugler, they are interested in moving up. You heard me correctly, moving up to get Michigan edge defender Aiden Hutchinson. And there's even chatter out there, just talking to people around the league, that the Lions are looking at what the cost would be to move up one spot. So, Braylon, I will come to you. I was actually quite shocked to hear this as a legitimate news report. Do you think this is something that's real or something that's just, you know what, they're going through their homework, they're doing their due diligence, and they're just having conversations?
I mean, it could be real. I think, we've talked about Brad Holmes being very secret, keeping his cards close to the vest, playing it just like that. We don't know too much. That's the way in which he likes to do it. So this could be real. I think if this is a real situation, that means that nobody's coming up to 2 to get Malik Willis. That means that they don't believe anybody's coming up to 2 to get Malik Willis. They can't get what they want for Malik Willis, and if they're tipping their hand and saying, hey, we want Aiden, because Jacksonville, it's a real chance that they'll select Aiden Hutchinson. They don't need a left tackle. They don't need a right tackle. They drafted Trevor Lawrence last year, so they're out of the quarterback sweepstakes. So for them, Aiden Hutchinson makes sense. It's a slam dunk as of right now. After his combine, he really had a good combine, probably really impressed the Jacksonville Jaguars, as well as the Detroit Lions, who were very quiet and actually weren't even at weren't even at the combine. So if this is a real deal, which it could be, why not? If this is the player you believe in Jacksonville going to draft him, you think that you might miss out, you want him, you see the potential for him to be a consistent player, an every down player, plays the run, plays the pass, went to school up the street in Michigan, comes from great pedigree, and his father. If this is who you want, then hell, why not? You haven't done anything else that has excited me. You haven't done anything else that was out of the realm of your normal, mundane self. So if this is something you feel you want to move up, you want to spend some money, well, God dog, to go ahead and spend some money.
I'll tell you this. I'm just glad to see the Lions in the news when it comes to the draft.
Jesus.
You know that? When was the last time we ever saw them? You never even see the Lions then. Usually ESPN goes to a commercial right before the Lions pick, and as soon as they pick after that, because they can't find the video of the person that the Lions took. I'm just glad. I'm just happy that they're in the conversation. I don't see them moving up to number 1 unless they're going to lose the quarterback. I'm not that moving up number 1 for Aiden Hutchinson. Then why not just lose to the Steelers? Because then you would have had the number 1. You tied the Steelers, so you lost the number 1. So there's an easier way. You're not trading. I'm not trading number 2 and number 32 to move up one spot, because that's what in the article. That's what it says. Oh, Jacksonville would love to have the 2 and 32. No kidding. You're not getting it.
The thing I would say is, if this is real and the Lions are moving up, what this tells me is this. Like, we're high on Malik Willis because, well, we've talked ourselves into wanting Malik Willis. You talk about the NFL as of right now, it's a quarterback-driven league. You talk about the big arm. You talk about the speed. So we've kind of talked ourselves. Salary cap. We talked ourselves into Malik Willis with the fifth-year option. If he's the guy, Well, it's not just because, if he's not the guy, it's not because they didn't do their homework. Where was Malik Willis in January? Oh, that's right. He was in Mobile, Alabama. He was at the Senior Bowl. Who else was down at the Senior Bowl? Oh, that's right. It was the Detroit Lions. So if they don't want Malik Willis at number 2, that means they did their homework in Alabama. That means they didn't have to do their homework at the Combine. And that means they didn't have to do their homework at Pro Day because they already saw enough of a snapshot of him in January. So if that's the case, then I don't have a problem with it because you're showing me I did the homework. I don't want him. What I want is number 1. It's Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. You know what? I don't mind it if this is what you want to do, if you've done the research. If you feel passionate about it, like I'm talking about you being passionate, then hell, move up, get Aiden Hutchinson, and let's rock and roll.
I'll tell you this is another thing here. I am worried another team is going to jump the Lions for the quarterback. That's all I'm worried about.
But again, if they do, then the Lions get their guy.
Yeah.
Well,
in Aiden Hutchinson.
But that's not their guy. The guy is Malik Willis.
But according to us.
Yeah, and them. You heard it yourself.
So one of the things that I'm trying to figure out, and again, I have talked myself 1,000% into the Malik Willis pick. I have gone there. I don't know how to retrain my brain to unbelieve or disbelieve that Malik Willis isn't the guy. I mean, that is an incredible sight right there. Look at how
Come on, man.
Gorgeous that was.
Come on.
Lather him up.
I'm sorry.
That's gorgeous.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
That's it.
But do you believe that the Lions have been trying to sell, and again, this could be way too overthinking it,
right?
But as a possibility, just to talk about it, could Brad Holmes be so savvy that he is talking up Malik Willis to the cows come home, so Carolina jumps the Lions, or whoever jumps the Lions, so that the Lions could stay at 2 and still get Aiden Hutchinson? Is that possible?
It's a good mystery.
I mean, you know what? Hey, that's what you said. You have to play the game. You have to come up with all types of scenarios. You have to come up with all types of little tricks and savviness to get a deal done. That could be an amazing thing. I told you what happened when I got drafted. Everybody said I was going to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins put it out there. Nick Saban and the whole team at the Dolphins flew to my pro day. Everyone thought I was going there. They couldn't get what they wanted at 2, so then they drafted who they wanted at 2 anyway, and it was Ronnie Brown. This could be a similar situation. Hey, you know what? We want Aiden. We're doing Aiden. We do this, and that way we come up to get Aiden, and that's not who they wanted anyway. So it could be smart on their part. It could be smart on Brad Holmes' part. They're playing some chess right now. I will tell you that the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Detroit Lions, they're playing a very good game of chess, and I can't wait to see who comes out being Bobby Fischer.
We finally got ourselves a poker player, because before that they were playing, go fish. That's what Quinn Trisha was playing. Do you have an 8? No? Go fish.
I mean, how do you sign Chase Daniel?
That was damn good, man.
How do you sign Chase Daniel
because
5 days before
they're
the draft?
Idiots. They ruined us.
Hey, you want to see our hand?
We were already ruined, and you further ruined us.
Not to revisit old stuff, but that was one of the more dumb moves in the history of the Lions
in
franchise.
A quarterback draft.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they really set that franchise back 8 years.
10.
I mean, they were here 3 years, but they ruined us for 8 years.
What's a dog year? 8 years?
I have no idea. I'm not a dog guy.
21 years.
Sorry.
That's what they said us back.
Depends on the size
dog
of the
years.
dog.
I have a dog, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's not
depends on the
it's
size
not
of the
like,
dog.
oh my God, I love the dog. It's fine. Right? I mean, the dog, I got a little dog. It came with the marriage.
There you go.
I think with dog years, I want to say the bigger the dog, when they get to that 50 to over pound range, then it's 7 the first 4 years and 4 years each year after that. But with small dogs, it's just 4 years because they literally age slowly.
That's nice to hear.
So
I love dogs.
So we're excited to talk to Dave Burkett. Yesterday,
did you just bark?
Dude, this is really something today. We're excited to talk to Dave Burkett because he put out this mock draft yesterday that I have right here, and he's got on here Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher from Florida State. Says he's probably on an island with this pick and believes the Lions would prefer Hutchinson to anyone else in this draft. But Johnson had a standout season at Florida State, and the Lions loved him at the Senior Bowl. I don't think Kayvon Thibodeau would be a great fit for Dan Campbell's locker room, and Johnson provides more positional value than Kyle Hamilton, the safety, and is a safer bet than Malik Willis. So we are going to talk to Dave, about Mr. Jermaine Johnson. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, a mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Oh, it's Chili Peppers back to back. We just had a live commercial.
What a great day for you,
And now
Maz.
I'll give you another one. Chili Peppers Tanning. You're going to find the cleanest salons in the D, spotless sanitized rooms, and trained and certified tanning professionals. If you join the Pepper Club, you'll be in good shape because they beat all competitors by $5. Don't forget, pick yourself up some Australian Gold, designer skin, Caltan, Swedish beauty lotions as well. That's what Braylon loves. He loves that Swedish beauty lotion.
Oh,
ChiliPeppersTanning.com. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your Vitamin D headquarters, 26 locations, and more on the way. Vitamin D headquarters. That's right down the street here on Woodward, about a mile from our studios. ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
That's another one.
Guys, I got to tell you.
You
So
gotta read the next one.
I am so. So listen, do we have Dave on the line, by the way? Okay, so good. So I have a couple of minutes. I'll tell you, I cannot stop laughing at this end of Big D Energy situation.
Oh, man.
Because I just got the tag on Woodward Sports Reel on Instagram, on the Reels. Justin in the back edited that thing.
So good.
So beautifully. Yeah. That was the funniest thing you will see today.
Funny to you.
Okay. That was the funny. Are you offended, Maz?
I'm assaulted.
Yeah.
You're salty. You're salty. You got salty.
I mean, if it wasn't so long, we'd play it again.
That's the most action I've had in years.
That was so great,
Off
man.
the rails, baby.
Oh, man. I don't know who's more offended, you or Mike G on the chat.
Mike G is all over it.
Mike G has
He's great.
been chatting about this for an hour.
He can't get over it.
Like he can't get over it.
You ruffled my feathers, my peacock feathers.
It's like incredible. And again, if you are watching on the YouTube chat, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that like button. We have now crossed over 22,000 subscribers here at YouTube on Woodward Sports on our YouTube page, which is kind of where we're kind of centering all our content, which is really good. So having a good day today.
So I appreciate that. It's a testament to the listeners. It's a testament to the viewers. You guys support us. You guys are there. So we appreciate you, man. 22,000 is not a lot. That is nothing to sneeze at. Excuse me. I had to get my lingo right.
And they love the Lions.
They love the Lions. It's incredible,
That's
man.
it. That's all they
Anytime
love.
I'm telling you, we go back, and the one thing about this medium that, I guarantee you, if you were able to see exactly down to the person how many people are actually listening to radio at one time. There's like 12 people that have these meters, and there's all these algorithms, and that's how they do the ratings, right? For us, exactly down to the individual how many people are listening to you, how many people have clicked on your stuff. I mean, it's incredible what happens when we talk Lions. When we talk anything else, it's incredible to see how many people don't listen.
God forbid we bring the Tigers up.
I mean, we'll do a basketball topic, or we'll do even a baseball topic. We'll talk Tigers, and nobody wants to hear. But you mention Lions, it's like it's incredible. So just wanted to say that.
I feel like the only time Tigers got some buzz out of us in terms of our followers, our listeners, and our viewers is when Miggy was chasing 500. Like when Mickey was chasing 500, it heated up, and people were cool on the Tigers then.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
But you're talking about history though. You got to be chasing history with the Tigers, the Red Wings, or the Pistons for people to listen.
Hey, let's bring him in. Dave Burkett. We can't get enough of this guy either. Dave Burkett, Lions beat reporter for the Detroit Free Press. Dave, I want to first off hit you with.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I love Dave Burkett. Every time we talk to him, he's in a different position. He's in a different location. He's in a different spot. He's been in a different car. He's been in this car. He's in a hotel. He was in his house over here. I love every time we talk to him. It's a different POV. Love it.
And Dave, your mock draft was
Waldo.
Your mock draft was gold for us yesterday, by the way, and I will get to that in 1 second. But first, I want to get to your take on this report coming out of The Athletic in Jacksonville that Detroit is doing their due diligence on moving up.
Yeah, if you read what I wrote this morning, I didn't mention that possibility in there. I don't think it's something Lions would do. I mean, I just look when you're in the state that they are of rebuilding, right? I don't know that it makes a ton of sense to the cost to go up to number one. It's not going to be cheap, right? It's not like we're talking about a 6th round pick and you're moving up. You're going to have to give up some sort of pick of value, and I just don't know that. I think Aiden Hutchinson is the best player in the draft. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think he'd be a great fit for the Lions, but I don't know that the value that you're going to get from Aiden Hutchinson is that great or that much more than whoever else you would take at number 2 to warrant you moving up and giving up something of value. So I think there's certainly, Brad Holmes will do his diligence on what it'll cost and whether he should do it, but ultimately, I think that's going to be a tough trigger for him to pull.
So, Dave, you're off the Malik Willis bandwagon. I mean, we all got excited, hot and bothered. We see him in the uniform. We've got it all going.
Let me see him again, Alex. Let me see him again.
Put him up again in case Dave didn't see the uniform. I just want to look at this guy in his uniform, Dave. I mean, come on, man. This is the guy.
It does look good as we're waiting. The anticipation is killing us right now.
What harm would it be to take him at number 1? Is there really a surefire guy here?
I don't think there is a surefire guy. I mean, I think that's why, look, to me, that whoever you're going to get at 1 is approximately the same caliber prospect that you're going to get at, 8 or 10 or throughout most of that top 10. So I think you're right that there's not that surefire guy. But I think there are some legitimate questions about Malik Willis and whether he's going to hit that, extremely high ceiling that he has. And look, I'll be very clear about this. Like, I have not projected Malik Willis at number 2 to the Lions. I would not do that given what I know right now if I was the Lions, but I would have no problem if the Lions did that because I believe you need a great quarterback to win long-term in the NFL, to have a sustainable program, and I think the Lions are still looking for that. And of all the quarterbacks in the draft, Malik is the one with the ceiling that, makes you believe that he could be that. So if the Lions, after spending a week with him at the Senior Bowl, really truly believe that that's his most probable outcome. Like they think that, hey, it's going to take a year, but Malik Willis is going to be a star quarterback in this league. Then you go get that guy. And, I don't have a problem with you rolling the dice at that position on a guy that you truly believe in after all the time that you spent with him. I wouldn't do it. And given what I've heard so far, I think there's enough doubt about whether he hits that incredible ceiling that he has. That's why he's not going 1 or 2 or 3 in most mock drafts.
Hey, Dave, I actually like your pick. I like the player in Jermaine Johnson that you brought up. You see what he did at Georgia. He had 2 sacks as a freshman.
Florida State.
No. He went to Georgia first. 2 sacks his freshman year, 5 sacks his sophomore year. Then he transfers to Florida State and then has 11.5. So I definitely like him as a player. He had some success. Oh, no problem. He had success everywhere he's been. But for some reason, I can't help but think about the 98 draft and Andre Wadsworth. Andre Wadsworth's the guy that came out of nowhere, Florida State. They drafted him 3rd overall over a guy and Charles Woodson. Now we don't know where the hell Andre Wadsworth is. Do you fear the fact that Jermaine Johnson is such an unknown to people that don't know, like you, or that aren't you, that aren't me, that aren't what we do? Do you feel like if they miss on that, it's going to destroy the regime, as opposed to if they miss on a Kayvon Thibodeau, at least everybody knew who Kayvon Thibodeau does. If he was a Trayvon Walker, at least people saw the Orange Bowl. They saw the national championship. They saw what he was able to do, so they got excited. If you miss on a guy like Jermaine Johnson, I think it hurts your regime a little bit more than missing on a Malik Willis or missing on a Kayvon Thibodeau.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, you go back to, I think it was DJ Hayden 2012 or 13 or whenever the Raiders drafted him, right? Like they were 100% sold on him. They would have taken him at 2 or 3 or wherever, and they traded down and got him at 10 or 12, and everybody still said, really, that's too high. But I would say, that by the time he busts that player, if he does bust, that regime is probably on the ropes anyway. So I don't know that it's going to be the deciding factor. Look, ultimately with Jermaine Johnson, and I know again that I'm probably on an island with him at 2, or I am on an island, let's be honest right now. But I think again, the player that you're getting at 2 is similar to the player that you're getting at 8. And there's a lot of these mock drafters that have Jermaine Johnson going 6 or 8 or 10 or wherever. Yeah. And I just think the Lions have spent a ton of time with him. He's an edge rusher. He plays the run well. He's done a lot. He, again, just like Malik Willis, the Lions had him at the Senior Bowl, so they really know what he can do, and he shined at the Senior Bowl. I know they liked him there. I think there's a lot to like about him. To your point, Braylon, though, look, I did wrestle with this when I was doing that mock, right? Like if you think there are 4 really good players in the draft, like 4 in that elite tier, right? Maybe it's Hutchinson and let's say Kyle Hamilton and the 2 offensive tackles. Yep. Well, you don't jump tiers and take Jermaine Johnson just because he's a better value. You take one of those other guys that's in that top tier. So that's really something that I've wrestled with, or I did wrestle with while I was making this pick. I've just gotten a lot of really good feedback on Jermaine Johnson too.
I bet when you woke up today, you had no idea that you were going to hear the name Andre Wadsworth. Go ahead, Ryan.
Blast from the past with that one for sure.
100%.
Hey, Dave, at 2, and again, you mentioned this, and we've talked about it as well. I feel like no matter which player they take it to, it's not going to be that good value, right? Because as you mentioned, you could get a player at 2 that you can get at 12. I mean, we've seen these guys. I mean, I saw Jordan Davis as high as 12, and I've seen him out of the first round entirely in mocks. My question is, if you pass up on a guy like Malik Willis, man, you better be right. If he goes somewhere else and becomes Russell Wilson, that is franchise altering. But I guess they had him at the Super Bowl, and they might know. I don't know. I'm in love with this guy. I can't talk myself out of him.
Look, there's a lot to like about Malik Willis. I mean, he's, I think first of all, from an intangible standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, a character standpoint, he checks all the boxes, right? I think everyone probably saw not that this is the deciding factor, right? But him giving to a homeless guy when no one was watching him during the combine, right? I mean, it's just little things like that sort of cement what you hear from the NFL people that are people really want to follow this guy. So I think there's a lot to like about him. And from a skill set standpoint too, right? He's got the big arm. He can move. We've talked before, Ryan, that, he is there are quarterbacks that you win with and that you win because of, and he has the skill set that you can win because of. It's just the questions are, how likely is he to hit that ceiling because of some of the inconsistencies in his play and the type of offense he came from, and the decision making and turnovers and things like that have sort of hampered his 2 years starting at Liberty. So I think that's where the question comes in, and somebody's going to take him. And you're right, if he turns into a star for that team, that's Lions fans are always going to look back and say what could have been, but that's the same thing with Justin Herbert right now, and that's the same thing with maybe if Justin Fields or Mac Jones or these quarterbacks that they passed on last year. That's really part and parcel of the draft.
Dave, is there any chance the Lions just take the best available player on their board, even if that is one of these offensive linemen, and just you have the most dominant offensive line in the NFL? Is there any chance of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I say. I think, Brad Holmes subscribes to this certainly, and most people in the NFL do, is that, you have tiers of players, right? And maybe it's just one super elite player, or maybe it's 2 or 4 or whatever. And you don't jump tiers in the draft, and especially not at the top of the draft, right? You don't just go to fill a need when there is an elite player left at whatever position. So however big that group is of elite players that Brad has and his staff, see in the draft, they're going to take somebody from that group. And if that's just three players and it's Hutchinson and 2 linemen, well, it's probably going to be an offensive lineman then, because that's what you do in the draft. But I think, and the feedback that I've sort of gotten in this draft is that there's this group of, let's say 8 players near the top, at the top, not maybe, elite Myles Garrett, Joe Burrow types, but still at the top, that have sort of separated themselves from that next group of, 16 to 20 couple players. And so I think maybe that group that the Lions are picking from is a little bit larger than just Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, and the 2 offensive line.
Hey, here's a question for you, Dave. And I'm thinking about this, trying to draft Malik Willis. Let's take a step back. The Detroit Lions haven't gone after anybody really actively in the free agent market. Yes, they bought Tracy Walker back. That was a good move for them. And then they got DJ Chark on a 1-year deal, kind of a proven deal, as Ryan likes to say, $8 million with $10 million, $8 million guaranteed. What if the Lions would have made some moves on defense? I'm talking about some of these big players that were out there. You got Bobby Wagner, Tyrann Mathieu, Quandre Diggs was out there for a little while, Marcus Williams, who was all settled. There's some big defensive players. What if they got a couple defensive players? Now you drafted Malik Willis. Because if you look at a situation like Russell Wilson when he first got drafted to Seattle, they had a really good defense. I actually was on that team. Really good defense. Legion of Boom was just starting. Bobby Wagner started that year. KJ Wright came out, was a really good player. But then on offense, you had a running back, DeAndre Swift. You had some wide receivers in Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin, myself, and Sidney Wright. Well, you got DJ Chark. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Quintez Cephas coming back off injury reserve. You have Josh Reynolds. If they would have put something like that in place now, would you be more in tune to take a Malik Willis? Because you have a really good offensive line, much like the Seahawks did as well with Russell Okung and Max Unger.
Yeah, that I didn't even realize you were part of that team back then. That's an interesting debate, because I think the Lions have, I like the way they're building, right? I tend to think free agency is sort of fool's gold, right? You re-sign your own guys, and when you get to the point that you maybe need to fill that one hole, you go out and get the guy or 2 guys that you need. So I don't really have a problem with what the Lions did. And I think ultimately what they want to do here is they want to build a young, really strong defense, and through the draft, and have all these young pieces, sort of like that Seattle defense was at time. And, maybe they have something in Jared Goff. I do think they're still in their minds maybe a little bit of question of what he can be. And if you surround him with the right offensive line and the right talent, that maybe he can be better than, I or some other people think he can. And, so I think there will be that time when they do have that young quarterback that you just, fill that roster like the Jacksonville Jaguars did and the Cincinnati Bengals did in free agency this year. Right. But I don't know that you do it in reverse and you go get those guys first, because unless you're 100% sold on the quarterback, and I haven't really got that sense that they are. But I will say this. There's no reason for them to let that out of the bag if they are, because they don't need to talk to Malik Willis anymore after spending that week with them at the Senior Bowl, right? They can keep their interest and evaluation of him under wraps until they're on the clock next month.
Dave Burkett joins us, Free Press, Lions Beat. Last one, Dave. Are they done in free agency, or do you see anybody else coming on here and filling up the squad? I saw Jeremy Jacobs put out a tweet the other day. It looks like maybe his recovery isn't going as well. What's your take on that? They do need some help out in that secondary.
I think you'll see him sign a linebacker here really soon. And it might even be, somebody that fans are familiar with. I don't know, that he's going to be an every down starter or anything like that, but I think the Lions will make another move or 2 on defense.
Spill it.
That's not something I can say right now. But yeah, just keep your ears.
Okay.
Follow him on Twitter.
Gotta appreciate
Follow him on Twitter at Dave Burkett. Maz, leave him alone.
Hey, man.
Follow him on Twitter.
They're done with their big moves, but they still have some patching to do with the roster, right? Okay. And so I think they've most of the any big names now will come through the draft, I expect. But yeah, I do think you'll see another mover here too before long.
On Twitter at Dave Burkett, and of course you can read him Freep.com. Pick up a Free Press, by the way. And by the way, shout out to the Detroit Free Press. A great front page today of Huell Perkins and Monica Gale. Their final broadcast 6 p.m. tonight on Fox 2. I thanked your newspaper actually on Fox 2 earlier today. It was a great front page. So pick up a Free Press.
It'll be great seeing them in their last broadcast.
Absolutely, 6 o'clock tonight.
I can't wait for the next headline. Malik Willis is your new future quarterback, Lions.
Well, if that happens, I will be somewhere. I'll be somewhere else. So I give Braylon a different background.
Okay, buddy. You'll be in Vegas.
Right. Hey guys, spend $1. Subscribe to Free Press, freep.com, and a lot of Dave's content there is so good. So we certainly appreciate your time, buddy. Spend $1. Subscribe to the Free Press, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
100%.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Dave Burkett. The best out there.
Oh, he's the
does
best.
his homework, does
He's
due
the
diligence, and he doesn't mind it. Like you said, well, Maz called it Belial, but he doesn't mind to stay on the island. But it's all done with research. It's all backed by proof. So,
Who do you think
by the way,
signing?
you said in Seattle when you mentioned Russell Wilson and that team that he came into, you mentioned DeAndre Swift is the running back. Who I know you're thinking Lions in that point. Who was?
No, that's what I did. I was comparing the.
Oh, you were comparing.
I was comparing the
but who was the running back then? Marshawn Lynch, right? Okay.
So I was like, you have Marshawn, you have DeAndre Swift, you have the line that we have in Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, and Peyton A. Sue. They had Russell Okung, they had Max Unger, they had Carpenter out of Alabama, first-round draft pick. There's a lot of similarities with that team. They built that defense up first. They built it up through the Legion of Boom. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, obviously Richard Sherman. Then they had some old school guys. Chris Clement was on the offensive line. Brandon Mebane, who also ended up playing for the Chargers. They built the defense up. And then they had the offensive line that was really good. Then they kind of punched and played. Then they drafted Russell Wilson. So I was very similar to what I was comparing the Seahawks to the Lions.
You've been up since 2 in the morning.
And we appreciate you.
3:30.
3:30.
Yeah, it's all good. Guys, Ermanni and Edwards coming back with more NFL.
Bottom line.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, want to tell you about Lady Jane's haircuts for men. How would you like to win $100K? Yeah, you heard me correctly. $100,000. That's right. Just get to a Lady Jane's today. Get a precision haircut and register for your chance to be 6 figures richer. Get to a Lady Jane's haircuts for men near. There's one near you. Because there's a bunch of locations in the Metro Detroit area and a bunch more around the country, over 100 locations nationwide. See one of their talented stylists. They'll treat you like a king. Open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk in anytime. Relax. Watch your favorite team play. Before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Ooh-wee. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Win $100,000. Get a haircut. Precision haircut. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, before we did that last segment, we jumped into the NFL. Let's expand on that. Let's jump out of necessarily Detroit. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers, Maz, Ryan. You saw MVS Scantling just signed a deal going with the Chiefs. You saw that right here. It is former Packers wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling is signing a 3-year, $30 million deal worth up to $36 million with the Chiefs per store. This is called Living Right. Valdes-Scantling goes from the NFL's reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers to NFL's former MVP and Patrick Mahomes, and actually very happy for Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He talked about being cut from his freshman high school team, and now all of a sudden he's getting paid upwards in the NFL. So very excited for him. Thank you, God. And that God is becoming a really reoccurring theme. Deshaun Watson talked about it as well. Hey, let's just jump into that, because now what you're starting to see is these teams, and we talked about it yesterday, getting rid of prime ones or not fearing letting prime ones go. You see Devontae Adams, he goes out to Vegas. You see Tyreek Hill, he goes out to Miami. The Chiefs let him go as well. Now they're trying to reboot through the draft. You look at Aaron Rodgers. Do you think that this is going to be successful, or do you think that they should fear missing their prime one receivers? Valdes-Scantling is a guy that Aaron Rodgers developed some trust with. Devontae Adams is a guy that Aaron Rodgers threw all his passes to. I know these guys are really good. We talked about them yesterday. We broke the draft down. A lot of good guys in this draft, but can you replace chemistry like the chemistry
Let
they
me
have?
ask you this, Bray, because I'll answer your question with a question.
Okay.
You more than anybody know what it's like, how long it takes to build up a rapport with a quarterback.
Right.
You just don't waltz in and have this great rapport. It takes work. And when Aaron Rodgers' top 2 receivers are now gone. I mean, whether you take Chris Olave or take Jahan Dotson, you just can't waltz in and be great right away, can you?
I think the situation with, and this is just me, I think the situation with Aaron Rodgers, I think because of how good he is, I think Green Bay was okay in letting Devontae Adams go. They were okay with letting Valdez-Scantling go. If Valdez-Scantling was that good, then they would have kept him. They would have made an offer to him. They would have made a good offer to him and kept him in Green Bay, but they didn't. So I think in Aaron Rodgers' case, because he is that man, well, at least in the regular season he is, I think it's okay. I think they can build with a Olave. They can build with a Jahan Dotson. They can build with a Jameson Williams. But in the Chiefs' case, it's not like they just let a receiver go and Tyreek Hill. They let a home run threat go. Tyreek Hill is a threat no matter what quarter, no matter what minute, no matter the situation, no matter the down and distance, no matter where on the field you are. Tyreek Hill is a threat to score a touchdown. He's one of the most important players in the NFL, not receivers. One of the most important players. And you saw Patrick Mahomes struggle last year at times. He had Tyreek Hill. He has Travis Kelce. So, yeah, they have a Juju Smith-Schuster who the verdict is still out on. We don't know what type of Juju Smith-Schuster you're going to get this year. If you're going to get the guy on TikTok, which, by the way, he posted a TikTok yesterday after he got traded. I was like, here we go. We're starting it. But I think with Mahomes, who's really a good quarterback, you see what the Chiefs are trying to do. They're building the offense around him. They're building the offense around the offensive line, which is smart. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. But I just don't know that you can replace a guy like Tyreek Hill being a home run threat every time. Devontae Adams, yes. Tyreek Hill, no.
They might believe in Mecole Hardman. Maybe he becomes Tyreek Hill now in Kansas City.
He couldn't even become a number 2 wide receiver.
Did you see what he tweeted out?
I did not.
Remember the Will Smith scene in
the
Fresh
end?
Prince
Yeah.
with nobody in the room?
Where did everybody go? And the Packers only have Alan Lazard. Who the hell else is
They're
on
a
that team?
7-win football team this year. I told you that a month ago.
You look at the Packers picks. That's also another thing. You look at the Packers picks. You look at the Chiefs picks. We talked about the draft being very deep at the wide receiver position. Well, the Green Bay Packers have 4 picks inside 60, and the Chiefs have 4 picks inside 62. So you look at it that way, you can rebuild your wide receiver room around that, and that's why I still go with Aaron Rodgers being the better situation, having the better situation, because he's the better quarterback, living in the regular season. And I'm telling you, situation with Tyreek Hill, man, you saw the game against the Bills. They were struggling again. The Chiefs were trying to figure it out. Dumped that pass off to Tyreek Hill. The rest is history, and it got them the game. Saw the big play that he made at the end of that game as well. So I just don't think you can replace a Tyreek Hill. But with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, I think you can replace him. Even though he's been the best receiver for the past 5 years, stat-wise, I think you can replace him. This draft is very similar to the 2004 draft. 7 wide receivers went in the first round of that draft. Also, I think that was the year Detroit Lions drafted Roy Williams in the first round.
How many do you think go this year? At least 5, right?
In the first round?
Yeah.
6.
6.
6 go in the first round. The record is 7. I think 6, potentially 7.
Wow, that's incredible stuff. Guys, I want to stick with the NFL. And we told you last week about a situation between Tom Brady and the Miami Dolphins. That was really the plan all along, is for Brady to go to the Miami Dolphins and play for them in 2022. And be a part owner of that team as well. But then the Brian Flores lawsuit came out, and everybody was like, whoa. Well, there is talk now that Brady is trying to force a trade to Miami. Ooh. And it's not from some quack either. We'll tell you about this report. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line on a Friday.
Detroit, you've been waiting. You've been asking, and now he's back. Starting Monday, April 4th, Terry Foster joins the Morning Woodward Show every day, bringing you Detroit sports like only he can. The Morning Woodward Show with Terry Foster and Adam starts April 4th, live on the Woodward Sports Network.
At Wingsnob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wingsnob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wingsnob. We just have better wings.
Citron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavor, energy. You know what? The hell with this. My boy Ryan Ermanni gets up every day, sometimes early and others, to do both jobs and still comes here. You know what he does when he comes here? You see that right there? See that ball on the table? You see that above my head? That Citron, that energy. That's how that man survives through this long day in which he provides his time, his effort, and his energy.
2 of them today.
Hey, check that out, man. 2 of them. And guess what? He's right here providing the news and the takes that you need. Citron is also the official energy drink of the Red Wings and proud sponsors of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively so at Birmingham Roast and LCA. Buy online at CitronWorld.com with promo code REDWINGS10. Check this out. Drink it. Live it with Citron.
So I did a little homework on this guy, and he's no quack. Okay? And that is a report that came out. If you could throw the tweet up for me, Alex, that'd be great. Because I lost it on my sheet here. Oh, here we go.
There it is. Sheet shuffling.
Sheet shuffling. I got so much paper in front of me.
Sheet shuffling.
It is the tweet that Tom Brady potentially could still be heading to the Miami Dolphins. There's a report out there from a guy, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. I wrote it somewhere. I can't find it. Somebody help me out, Maz. You got it? Thank you. You got it? You got it? There we go. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's all good, baby.
Wait, you got it?
Dale Arnold.
Dale Arnold. Did we not have the tweet?
No, late ad.
Oh, late ad. Sorry about that. Dale Arnold is the guy's name. And Dale Arnold is no quack. I mean, he's a legitimate reporter. And he talked about how Tom Brady is still working behind the scenes to go play for the Miami Dolphins. And it's a curious thing. It's an intriguing possibility. Maybe he didn't want to play for the Bucs all along. I think he'll play for the Bucs, but I have no idea. It is something that we suspect that he wanted to do prior to the Brian Flores lawsuit. But again, Tom Brady to the Dolphins is a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I still was very intrigued in Tom Brady coming back to play for the Bucs. I think there was something going on down there in Tampa. Everybody tries to say that, you know, hey, him and Bruce Arians, they made peace, or it never was a big deal. We overthought that process. Something didn't look right at the end of the season. You have an offensive guard retire. Tom Brady retired. You know, you have Bruce Arians hitting players during the season. It didn't seem like they meshed well. The whole AB thing happened on the field at MetLife Stadium against the New York Jets. Something just didn't smell right down there in Tampa. Then Tom Brady comes back, and everybody thinks, oh, everything is good. I still don't understand, but I know something is going on. So you hear this, hey, maybe he's trying to, behind the scenes, get to Miami a help. Maybe he is. You know, you see with Bruce Arians, before Tom even said he was coming back, he said something along the lines of, now you got me like Jameis Winston. What did my trainer say? No, but he said something along the lines of, we would have to come up with a deal or figure something out, or we wouldn't let Tommy go. Like something he said, but it still didn't feel right under the surface. What Bruce Arians, Tom Brady, and that team and that chemistry, that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Dale E. Arnold in Boston, one of the big guys in Boston. His tweet was, would not be surprised if at Tom Brady, he tweeted at him, didn't play for the Buccaneers next season, try a little further south. He said he would not be surprised if Brady played somewhere other than Tampa next season, hinting instead at a possible arrival with the Miami Dolphins. That's where it's at. And the radio station 93.7 in Miami, The Fan, ran with this as well. So he did sign a one-year deal yesterday officially with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because he was retired. So we had to re-sign with the Buccaneers for a one-year deal yesterday. And then today, this comes out from Boston. So I don't know. With this smoke, there's fire. I'm not sure if he could pull it off.
Yeah.
You heard Bruce Arians said, what did you want? 5 number ones?
That's what he said. Thank you.
5 number ones?
I mean, the thing about it, though, I would say if Brady did do this, there's a lot of players that re-signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and signed on because of the announcement that he made that he was coming back to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was unretiring to play for the Bucs.
He also says, and notice that Rob Gronkowski hasn't re-signed with the Buccaneers yet. So he tweeted at Gronk as well. There's smoke here.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Miami, though, is they do have a guy by the name of Mike Gesicki down there who's a really, really one of the best tight ends in the league.
He's just okay.
With a decent quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, but this is a 2 tight end league. You can take Rob Gronkowski as well as Mike Gesicki down there. They both have some success. Hell, Mike Gesicki can learn a lot from one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. The interesting thing is Tua. Like, it's Tua. Tua's still there, and obviously you have Tua. Obviously you have Tom Brady, but going back a little bit, Tom Brady only signed an extension deal last year in terms of a 2-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just to help them on cap space. So don't make too much about Tom Brady signing this deal or, he signed a 2-year with Tampa. The second year, which is this year, it was only to help Tampa Bay out in terms of cap space moving forward. So definitely he could already be mentally gone or mentally trying to make this deal work, but we don't know. It's all speculation, a little bit of smoke, but a little bit of fire too.
Don't forget, the deal was back in the day when Brian Flores was the coach of the Dolphins, Stephen Ross invited Tom Brady on his boat, and then he had Brian Flores try to join them on the boat. And what happened there? Brian Flores didn't want to go because he didn't want to tamper.
Yeah.
He didn't want to tamper. And then later on, the Brian Flores allegations of racial inequality in the NFL, and that's where we are. But Brady was set to go to the Dolphins to be a partial owner and run the team. Not only run the team, make every move ahead of the GM. In other words, he would have been Stephen Ross's mouthpiece.
Hey, let me ask you guys something, and follow me on this one. I'm pulling my Ryan Ermanni out right now. Follow me on this one.
Got you.
We're talking about the Miami Dolphins right now. Their quarterback is now Tua. Everyone, which is the narrative, which is the word, you hate the narrative, he can't get it done. He can't cut the mustard. I don't like him. Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert. Now everybody, of course, will want Justin Herbert. Can Tua get the job done? Are we making too much of Tua not being the guy? You look at last year, Tua won 8 games in a row. Tua almost had those guys in the playoffs. Tua's a guy, we talk about to win in the league, you have to win in college. Tua's got to win a national championship. If Tua doesn't hurt his ankle or hurt his hip, he wins another national championship. He wins a Heisman. He's a guy that got it done at the highest level for the highest team, and that being Nick Saban's Crimson Tide. Are we making too much of him not being the guy? You look at Jalen Waddle on one side. You look at Raheem Mostert in the backfield. You look at Mike Gesicki at the tight end spot. You look at Tariq the Cheetah on the other side. You know what he does do really well? He's a king of the RPO, and that's because he ran so much of that RPO at Alabama with Crimson. Now you got a guy in Raheem Mostert. Now you got Tariq Hill. You know one of the offenses that Aaron Rodgers has a lot of success with, and that's Kyle Shanahan's offense that they now use in Green Bay. You know who throws the ball at the line of scrimmage the most in the NFL? It's Aaron Rodgers. That's what Tua's good at. Everybody complains talking about him throwing the ball down the field. He can't get the ball down the field. When you got guys that have clocked 23 miles per hour, you don't have to throw the ball down the field. You can throw the ball underneath, and you can get the yaks, the yard after catch. Imagine Jalen Waddle, Tariq Hill, Raheem Mostert, Tua Tagovailoa with Mike Gesicki with an RPO game like no other. I think we might need to give Tua a little bit more time, and I think he's going to do a lot better things this year.
Put up that picture, Alex, of the Dolphins offense.
One of the things about Tua, though, you mentioned all the things he does well. One of the things he does not do well is throw the deep ball. And you are essentially limiting that speed. You know, he's a short, accurate passer. You've got in Waddle and Tyreek Hill, two of the fastest guys in the NFL. I mean, look at that offense that you see right now.
And don't sleep on Cedric Wilson.
Exactly, Cedric Wilson, too. So you almost are limiting, because of Tua, you're almost limiting those guys' speed because you don't have a quarterback that can get them the ball downfield. Does that make sense?
Is the AFC East the second best division now?
Could be, but here's another thing, man. Talking about that speed, Mark Sanchez didn't have a big arm. I played with a lot of quarterbacks that didn't have a big arm. When you have a good running game, when you can play action, when you have good wide receivers, you have a trio. We had Santonio Holmes, Jericho Cotry, Dustin Keller at tight end, myself. When you have guys that can play, when you have a running game, so LaDainian Tomlinson and Sean Lee, you legitimately can help the deep ball. You get behind guys faster. He throws the ball before guys are open. You throw people open. When you have all that, it makes it a lot easier.
We've got breaking Detroit Lions news next. Lord. I'll give that to you in 30 seconds. Breaking Detroit Lions news next.
You don't even sound excited.
Dave held out on me.
You can no longer say that the Lions do not have a player from the 2017 draft. I'll tell you who it is next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, my God.
Woodward Sports Network.
Tease Tabor's back.
The bottom line.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down.
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires. Hits.
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy and the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans.
Got it.
Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Syntron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Oh, hi, everybody. Guardian Alarm. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house that tells the bad guys one thing. It says stay out. Guardian Alarm has 24/7 local monitoring. They've got convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights, your everything. They control everything. Lock your doors, unlock your doors, carbon monoxide,
bring back draft
fire
picks.
Alarms. All you got to do is call that number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
You rascals, you.
The Detroit Lions, about 11 minutes ago, have sent out a release saying that they have re-signed former first-round pick of the 2017 draft, Jared Davis. This from Allen Park. The Detroit Lions announced today that they have signed unrestricted free agent linebacker Jared Davis. Contract terms were not disclosed. Davis comes to Detroit after one season in New York, played for the Jets in 2021, played for the Lions for 4 seasons from 17 to 20. Team selected him 21st overall in that 2017 NFL draft out of Florida. He's entering his 6th NFL season, appeared in 64 games, 50 starts, 300 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 1 interception, 9 passes defense. He's got all kinds of stats. But there you go.
Dave
About
had a
11 minutes
feeling it
ago,
would be linebacker.
the Lions signed unrestricted free agent linebacker Jared Davis. You can no longer say that the Lions have nobody on their team from the 2017 draft.
Why? Why did they bring back Jared Davis?
So we don't have to say that anymore.
Why did they bring back Jared Davis? Jared Davis still gives me PTSD from the 2017 draft. I wanted Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. Instead, they took Jared Davis, and they mixed him in with Tease Tabor. Neither one of them here. Now they bring him back. I mean, he's been a durable linebacker in the NFL. I mean, I can give him that. He's, 330 tackles in 4 years or 5 years or so. I just don't understand why you bring him back. Like, what is?
I don't know.
And that's why I'm asking. I'm not even trying to be critical of what Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions are doing. I'm trying to understand, because right now I don't know what the F is going on down there in Allen Park. You bring back Jared Davis, is a guy that a lot of people didn't like here in terms of his on-the-field play, in terms of drafting him. Where you draft him, you bring him back to put him alongside Derek Barnes. You put him behind Tracy Walker behind him. I'm still trying to find out the pulse of what they're doing. I understand the draft is coming up. I understand they have a ton of draft picks. Are you trying to draft everybody and make free agent moves in 2023? I'm just asking for clarification.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, this is not the regime that drafted him. So, I mean, they've got a fresh look at him. I think that's an interesting...
He didn't do anything. A fresh look at what?
Well, I don't know. I am not going to claim you two would know better than I would. I'm not going to claim I've watched any Jets games last year. In fact, I watched 0 New York Jets games last year, so I'm really unfamiliar with the kind of year he had. Maz, you might be able to tell me more. I don't know if you watched the Jets at all last year.
He didn't have a very good year, and he was injured. So he didn't finish the year.
So that's an issue then, I would say. Or you just get him so cheaply. Now the terms of the contract,
I don't think it hurts to have him.
We're not disclosed, so we'll find out what he's got left in the tank.
I don't think it hurts.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
I know with nickel and diming free agents. I get it. And we've already talked about how, look, I want to go out and get Tyrann Mathieu just like the next guy. I want to go out and get Julio Jones. He was a great name at one point. I want to go out and get Jarvis Landry. They're not doing it. So this is what they're doing. And you know what? I have to be okay with it.
You don't have to be okay with it. You can ask the questions. The question is, why did you go out and get Jared Davis? Like, what about him? What is it about him that fits into this moniker that you guys are trying to build? Is it that he's been here before? He knows the city of Detroit. He played 4 years here.
He played hard.
I didn't say he didn't. I get it. You want a bunch of guys that are low cost. They're cost effective. They play hard. They can buy into the culture. That's why I agree with Burkett that Jermaine Johnson is a better fit than Kayvon Thibodeau. I get buying into the culture. I'm just saying, to win some games, you got to have some players. One of the reasons why we talked about Michigan not being able to beat Villanova, they didn't have a go-to guy. They didn't have a guy that can come in there and score points when you need it. They didn't have a Banchero or a Jaden Ivey, and the list goes on. They didn't have that player. A lot of these players that they're bringing in are just guys.
Yeah.
You can't win with just a bunch of guys. Somebody has to be an MFing dog.
I love what you're saying, Bray, and I agree what you're saying, and I'm not sure what they see in Jared Davis. I mean, under a previous regime, he did not play very well. It just never worked out. Maz, as you say, goes to the Jets and didn't have a good season last year and was injured.
Had COVID last year, so he didn't miss
I
a lot of
don't
time.
know. I don't know what the reason is why they bring him back. If it's just
familiarity,
a body, familiar. Yeah, he knows what the roads are, but this is a different.
They didn't pick up his option, so now they got him cheaper. They gave him a year off, basically, and now they got him cheaper. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But can he play?
I'm sure he could.
We hope.
Yeah. They know more than me.
If he could play, then they wouldn't have let him go the first time around. You let him go to New York, nothing happens in New York, now you bring him back. So the only thing I'm saying, you didn't get a chance to see him last year and something jumped out. It's not like, okay, you let him go, he goes to New York on a prove-it deal, and then he goes and balls out. He didn't get a chance to play because he was hurt and he had COVID last year. So that's why I'm asking the question is, what did they see in him? What did they see in his workout? What did he show them? What he showed them is that he's cheap. He's a player that you get for cheap. That seems to be the thing. That seems to be the model right now. It seems to be what they're doing. Go after cheap players, bring them in, the guys that can fit the identity. I don't want to just say any random guy, a guy that they believe can fit the identity. But what is the identity? 3-13-1 again?
And they seem to be running it back right now.
They're bringing a reunion. It's a reunion.
Hey, man. Hey, tell the boys we're coming back in time.
There you go. All right, guys, we'll be right back for Maz's videos of the day. We'll do it next.
More.
And more. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
I could tell you that I was happy Michigan just got to the Sweet 16, but I wasn't. I'm a Michigan guy. I wanted more. So you know what I think I almost did last night, but I didn't. Because it's so good, I almost drowned my sorrows in Gypsy, but that's never a good thing to do. Never drink to excess, but I'm going to tell you what you want to do. Have a couple glasses of this smooth stuff. That's because Gypsy Vodka is corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. It's also gluten-free. How can you not go for gluten-free on the vodka? Hey, it's Friday. You've had a good day at work. You've balled out. Now it's the end. You want to relax. You want to just kick your feet up. Pour yourself some of this Gypsy Vodka. Ask for it by name at a liquor store. They will have it. And tell them Ermanni sent you. Guarantee you get a discount. If you don't tell them I sent you, you definitely get a discount. But remember, if you're going to drink, make sure you do it responsibly. Best way to do it is at home.
That's what's up. All right, gang, final segment of the program. Here on a Friday.
Yeah.
A little pep in my step a little bit. Here we go.
You got anything going this weekend?
Dude, honestly, I got nothing going on this weekend.
Watch some basketball.
Yeah, watch a little basketball, and I'm not going to do anything. We got a little party tomorrow for Huel and Monica.
Michigan's women are playing.
Michigan women will
North
maybe
Dakota
give that
State
a look
tomorrow.
So I know that Darren's got his thing tomorrow, so I'm a little conflicted. I've got a conflict in the schedule, but
I'll be there.
Yeah, maybe you go represent us there.
I will at the 5th and Royal Oak. I'll be there.
Matt, time now for Maz's
videos of the day.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, fellas, I want to start. I've been trying to play this all week, but I'm going to squeeze it in here. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, of course, at Jackson State. They had their pro day this week. And Coach Deion kind of called out some of his old buddies online. Here we go.
Good day and God bless. Yesterday was phenomenal. I mean, flat out phenomenal. All the kids that participated on Pro Day, hats off to you. God bless you. The people that came in support, the coaches from the SWAC schools and various schools that came there to stand for your kid. Hey, I love you. 24 teams. 24 teams came to witness our kids yesterday in its entirety, and I appreciate you. But there's 32 teams in this Crayola box. Therefore, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Texans, the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, the Panthers, the Browns, the Vikings, and the Eagles. Where art thou? You could have sent somebody, man. You could have shown up just a little bit. But I guarantee you that you're gonna go to Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I guarantee you're gonna.
Oh, Coach Prime, man, calling out his old boys.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm glad he did that because they could have sent somebody. And I am a bigger fan of Deion Sanders today than I have ever been in my life. And I was a huge Deion fan.
I always loved it.
I think he's doing such good in life, in impacting kids' lives and families and everything like that. I think the world of him, and good for him. Yeah, you could have sent somebody.
He's right. There's a ton of scouts in the scouting department. When you play in the NFL, they have a ton of scouts, guys you never even meet that were on the scouting team. They could have sent one of those guys down there, and he's right. They'll be at Mississippi State. They'll be at Ole Miss, which is right down the street from Jackson State. They got talent down there. More and more, I think you'll see this change. But like you said, I'm glad Deion is doing this, call people out. Very rarely do you see a former pro be able to get to a platform where he can do things like this without people tripping. Had this been somebody that didn't like Deion, somebody that hadn't won the Super Bowls, somebody that hadn't been who he was in terms of a Hall of Famer, people would have a problem with this. But the fact that it's prime time Deion, go ahead, Deion, keep doing it.
All right, guys, we're going to take a minute now and bring in Sean Jordan, baby. Sean, how you doing? We got you? Yes.
There he is.
Welcome in.
From
how
SMA.
You doing, Sean? Yes. How you
Sorry
doing?
about that, guys. I couldn't get the login.
Well, you know what? You're not the only one.
Yeah, get in line.
A lot of people have a hard time. Sean, tell us what's going on. What do you got going on today?
Hey, you know what? I'm anxious to see North Carolina play. I'm stoked that we had a fellow West Point graduate make it to the Elite Eight last night. So I'm excited. Like I'm looking forward to some college basketball. I'm going to the Pistons game tonight, but that's with my son and a couple of his lineman buddies from the Detroit Spartans. So that I've got a full deck in front of me.
Hey, Sean, what do you think about this analogy? You talk about Coach K last night. He was able to listen to his players, something that you won't imagine. A guy that's the all-time leading, that's the best college coach of all time, and Mike Krzyzewski, somebody that's 75 years old. He's got all that going for him, all those accolades, but he's listening to guys that are 18, 19, 20 years old. Tell him, Coach, we got this. It's the end of the game. Let's switch out of zone. Let's go back to man. Let's man up and let's get it done. Trust us. What do you think that says about his background in the military from West Point and listening to the soldiers as yourself? You are one on the front line listening to those. What do you make of that?
I love that you said that. That is exactly what I was going to say. They teach you that in the first year, right? Is to you're only as good as your soldiers, right? And look at what's going on over in Ukraine. It's tough. But I just saw a guy a career soldier from Detroit who just actually was on Fox 2. The guy packed his stuff up and went over to fight. Because some of those things, those impressions that are made on you early on as a soldier, never leave, and they haven't left Coach K, and that's why he's been successful, in my opinion.
Bring it up, Sean. Talk to us about this is the F word, and F word is fentanyl. Talk to us about that. The podcast started 3 weeks ago. You guys are championing that. Tell us how it's going, and tell us, what are you doing with that? Also, when am I coming on? By the way.
Hey, you know what? I'm anxious to have both you guys on, and we're going on episode number 2. We're dabbling in some different kind of formatting for that, but again, the focus is fentanyl. Speaking of West Point, we just had 7 kids overdose that were doing some recreational stuff on spring break, and it was laced with fentanyl. So the superintendent, the first black superintendent there, he sent out a press release and some emails to all of the old or former graduates. And it's something that I bring that up because it's not just, people like down in Monroe or over in Lapeer or in Detroit or what have you. It's all over. It reaches and touches everyone. So, this show is giving us a great vehicle, a great opportunity to get the information out there, get the word out there. So stay tuned. We have another show, I think, another episode coming up next week. And then after that, I'd like to have you on, Braylon and Ryan.
Would love to do that,
to me,
Sean. And I'll tell you, this might be a bigger question than we have time to answer because I think it's probably several different layers to it. But Sean, when did this get so bad? And why did this get so bad? How did this get so bad when you talk about fentanyl?
The easy answer is to say in the past couple of years, but we've had an issue with opioids for 100 years, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that the more it has become something that we prescribe and something that we've tried to contain, we've noticed a lot of the issues that have transpired since then. So let's be careful because fentanyl has been something that is used in surgery every day responsibly, right? But it's like the bastardization of that or anything else really that makes it bad, right? So, when people are saying, marijuana is legal, right? So they smoke marijuana and maybe but they don't get it the right way, and maybe it's laced with fentanyl. And then you have an overdose. So it's that kind of lack of information, I think, that causes problems for us. The other thing is that there's a ton of poly substance abuse that's happening out there, and I'm learning that from the different PIHPs. Like we had Oakland County on last time, and a representative from Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. These guys are on the front lines, and I see through their eyes a lot of the other issues that are transpiring out here, and a lot of which is a side effect, if you will, of a mental health issue. Yeah. So we got tons of stuff that we need to reach out and touch from a problematic standpoint, and that we want to address on the show. So just last week, just as a plug, we want to thank the Attorney General Dana Nessel for coming down to Monroe and supporting some of the initiatives that we have, which is Project 10100, a project that we have spearheaded in the think tank that we created to save 10,000 lives by reducing 100,000 overdoses. So we are on the front lines with a lot of other good people, and we're thankful for the partnership with you guys.
Sean, I'm watching right now with my wife, actually, a series on Hulu called Dope Sick. And
that's Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, Michael Keaton, and it's remarkable to see how quickly this drug, these opioids, could get into good people. You don't have to be some drug addict. I mean, just good people that get attached to this stuff, get hooked, and then they're desperate. It is fascinating, and it's really hard to watch. Sean, we are going to be watching the podcast. We're going to be listening to it. We can't thank you enough for your partnership here at Woodward Sports, and many, many good things to come, my friend.
Hey, thank you to you guys. I really appreciate you. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for making this a priority, because really it's a community effort, and we are looking at this thing as a village approach to, to addressing these issues. So we're thankful for your platform and the voices, and we love you guys. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you always, buddy.
Appreciate you.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, Sean Jordan there, everybody. And if you want more information, the website,
thesportsma.com, thesportsma.com. Once again, it's just information. Like I said, everybody's dealing with a level of something, be it mental health, be it substance use disorder. Everybody's dealing with something. So it's a very discreet way to find out some information, because people are struggling, people yourself. And sometimes you don't even know you're struggling, but this kind of helps you gauge that. It kind of helps you give you some information so you can see if somebody is struggling, you can help somebody as well.
hell of a show, guys. Hell of a week. Great effort. Enjoy the games. Braylon, get us out of here.
Hey, Ryan, appreciate you, man. It's tough for you guys during these weeks where you're up early. You're doing both shows, so really appreciate you. Sam, Alex, tremendous job out of you guys this week, man. It was really amazing. Maz, you stepped it up this week, buddy. You're the man.
Thanks, buddy.
You're the MVP of this week, buddy.
Thank you. Hey, happy Peacock Day, everybody.
Happy Peacock Day, and guess what? Hope St. Peter's wins for my boy Maz, man. I'm picking them over to Kansas now, man.
There you go.
I hope they got to beat Purdue first.
Purdue, excuse me. I actually have Purdue in my bracket, so I don't want them.
I know,
to win,
I get it.
Every time I hear Purdue, I think of Purdue Pharma now because of this Dope Stick show.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that show was Michael Keaton. That's pretty good. I watched it last year. But hey, man, we appreciate you guys. You keep smashing the like buttons. You keep supporting us. Keep subscribing. We're over 22,000 right now. So, hey, we're living good. We're feeling good, man. And we're going to keep bringing you nothing but the best, be it people we're interviewing, be people you want us to interview. And also, we're going to keep pushing the Detroit Lions to get somebody in here that can help us win some damn games. For Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Sam, Alex, and Maz on the couch, this is The Bottom Line.
Happy anniversary, D-Mac.
I'll see you tomorrow.
And yes, I've had the day, March 26th, on the calendar since May when Chris Draper got hit from behind. Oh, by the way, what happened? He broke his orbital bone, broke his jaw in 4 places, had his face wired shut. So when I got him out of the hospital 10 months earlier, I told him, this is the only time it was ever said. I looked at him in the car and I said, I'll take care of it. And that was it. Cracked, boom, broke his grip, and right here, boom, that's the cold cock. So right here, I'm trying to take my fist and put it through his skull and rip his heart out because I can't get a shot at him. You see him right there? He's got to be woozy because I smashed his head against the boards. He got what he deserved.